Welcome back, everyone. Here we are looking at a Rogers Majestic radio, which is shortwave and marine band. We'll take a closer look at the dial and what that's all about shortly. This radio was made in Canada in the around 1955, maybe 1960. Difficult to say exactly when, but around that era. And it's an interesting radio. It's a radio that was designed for a rural area for people that wanted to listen to a marine band, basically. So these types of radios, not this specific one, but shortwave, AM, FM, whatever. There's multiple radios I've found online made in Canada that bear the brand of Rogers Majestic, which you see in the emblem down here. So we'll just there's two buttons that I know what I'm talking about here. I know that this is the on-off switch and volume, and I'll get to why I can't figure out anything else in a moment. And then we have a one switch here and another switch here. Now obviously it's for shortwave and for marine band. One of these switches is to switch from shortwave to marine band, and of course this here is your tuning dial here. As you can see, there's a badge just missing here, and I discovered online because I found one set of pictures of this radio, and basically all it is just a silver ring that locks in here. So I thought it might have been a badge of some sort of the company here, Rogers Majestic, but it's not. So it's the only thing, and it's pretty common actually for this badge to be missing on a lot of radios, I've noticed. So it's marine and shortwave. Let's have a look at the backside, and I'll explain to you the situation with regard to power. Okay, here is the back of the radio, and as you can see here, we have the grounding, local, and a normal one antenna. So I'm assuming that there must be a resistor here of some sort to knock down heavy signals. But if you put your antenna into the normal one, I guess you'd receive all you can receive, hopefully. I'm going to take off the back and have a look, but before I do that, I want to just go into the situation here as to why I can't test this radio. I've done some research, and basically this radio needs two separate DC power supplies, and as best I can tell, this here receives 1.5 volts DC, and that's for the heaters of the tubes. I am if my understanding is correct. And then there's this wire here, which has two separate plugs on here, and these were for two batteries, 45 volt and 45 volt, in combination, of course, in series. They would be, or is that parallel? Anyway, combined together it would give you 90 volts to run the radio. So I'm in a little bit of a situation here as to how I'm going to, I obviously know that there's just two wires here, so this is probably the positive and this is the negative, and if I had a 90 volt DC rail, I could plug this on there, and then I could find a DC 1.5 volt battery and power up the heaters of the tubes and turn on the radio, and voila. But it's not as easy as that. I don't want to be blowing up the radio, of course. You don't know if there's any internal problems, and if you do that, I could end up popping the tubes and God knows what other components I'll knock out. So that's a situation with the power and why I can't test. Let's have a look inside. Now, I don't know if I mentioned this in the early part of the video, but this is the model number is RM776. If you can see that clearly, I don't know, but hopefully 776/01. So here's the back. Looks like a 4-tube configuration, and I've been in contact with a gentleman that knows that actually repaired some radios like this, Jim Landendis. I hope I'm pronouncing his name properly, because I noticed he had some some of these Rogers Majestic radios that he's been modifying and rebuilding, and you know, the whole run-of-the-mill thing. So it looks like it's completely intact, and that's the dial string there, and the tuning capacitor over here, 4 tubes, and so this is where we're at right now. This is where I'm at with regard to this radio. It's going to be very interesting to see if I'll be able to get this running. I'd just like to buy a power supply of some sort, like, you know, something that would plug in the wall and plug one thing into this and one thing into this. Pretty simple wiring if I could have it, and take my chances and turn the radio on, see if it works. Let's have a look at the dial face. That's pretty interesting. Okay, here we are looking at the dial face, and actually not the whole dial face, but if I move this up, it would be cool, wouldn't it? And as you can see, it goes through the full range of the dial. So, you know, it's I did have some problems. The tuning capacitor was only moving to about 75%. It would stop probably about here. It was just a little bit of dirt, I think, or something, but I didn't want to force it, but I managed to free it up so it goes down to where it should be. I'm thinking that second switch must be a standby of some sort, one of these here, because I can't see what else could be, other a tone control for low and high for the speaker. But I would say this probably your shortwave marine band switch, and this may be a standby. It feels slightly different. I could go inside and probably have a look underneath at the components and see exactly what it might be doing, but there it is. So let's have a real close look at the trying to zoom in. My apologies. There you go. You see broadcast band. Now, to me, broadcast band would be, you know, 520 to 1700 or something, but it was a bit of a puzzler to me because it's broken down in MC/S and KC, kilocycles and megacycles. I'm thinking this must be Canada, and I just want to zoom in on the different parts of the dial because some of you people out there are very knowledgeable about this radio. You see it says 60 meters, the inner scale and the outer scale. Excuse the light. Goes around. There's a marking here. Obviously, it must be a specific channel in that area back in the day. And another one here. And the dial goes from, on the inside dial, it goes from, what is it, 1, I guess 1.5, right around to 5, so say 5.5. And the outer dial, in kilocycles, goes from 500, 50, well anyway, let me just call it like it is, 55 to 160 or 165 or something like that. So, what else is on the dial? I notice there's a number up here. Not exactly sure why. And if I can get it focused, you might see it. My apologies for being a bit sloppy here, but if you can get that, I guess it's just a reference number for the dial. Out of focus. So, again, I ask everybody out there, if you have any information on this radio, more than what I have offered you today, and debunk whatever I've said, because I have no idea. Just very fortunate to have run across radios like this in a barter. Very interested in tubes. So if you have any information, just chime in. Appreciate the conversation, appreciate the information. PDF files are accepted with great joy, even though I don't understand them. It's great to have it. If I don't get this radio powered up, if I can't figure out a way to do it safely and appropriately and have it so it's at least it would function to check it, I guess I just may have to send this off to somebody that could do it, because it'd just be a sin to have this sitting down and not knowing its future abilities, you know, just sitting there wondering if the tubes work, wondering if it needs to be recapped, wondering if there's something wrong, wondering if it works fine, wondering if it just needs a cleaning, yada yada yada. Anyway folks, thanks for watching, and look forward to some more videos in the future. The radios are getting through them pretty well now, as you know, so we'll see what comes up in the future, what other video I'm going to do. But thanks for dropping by, and we'll see you soon.